This guy's another guy I was able to pick up a lot of cards of. Not as many as I wanted because he's been through the minors. I mean, this guy's been in the minors since 2014, if you can believe it. So he wasn't a guy that just came out of nowhere. This is a guy that put in his dues. This guy was drafted in 2013. He's 26 years old now. And this guy, can you believe it? A .33 ERA in 27 innings. Ks 53% of his batters that he's faced at. Amazing. I don't even know what to say about the guy. Devin Williams, everybody, the Brewers. RP, 5 stars. I think he's earned that. Now let's take a look at what he's throwing here. Fangraph says he's basically a 2-pitch pitcher as well. He'll use the slider occasionally. We're not going to mix that in, but they say he's basically just fastball changeup. His fastball's coming in at 96. He's basically saying, here, do what you can with it. I haven't seen him throw. Maybe he's got a lot of movement on that fastball. But a fastball changeup guy. If he keeps trying to refine that slider, though, to use that as part of his arsenal, then look out. I don't know what else you could say about the guy, but definitely a guy that killed it this year. Jonathan Hernandez of the Rangers, another guy that really kicked butt this year. They had him as a starter again. Oftentimes that's the case when you see guys coming up through the minors. They have them as starters. Sometimes they end up being relievers, and he's one of them. Definitely came in this year, did well. Sub-3 ERA, a sub-3 ERA for the Rangers. So we definitely want to make sure we convert him from a starter to a reliever. Looking at his Fangraphs, he's a 3-pitch pitcher. Fastball slider mainly, but he mixes in that changeup. Fastball's coming in at 98, coming in hot. Slider's his 2nd pitch. He throws that about 40% of the time. The fastball about 48% of the time. Slider's coming in at 89. And then that changeup coming in at 91 that he uses as an effective 3rd pitch. That thing's coming in at 91, as I said. Can you believe that? So he's another guy, young guy. Definitely want to, 86 is the max. Definitely want to keep an eye on him, see what he does next year, see if he keeps it up. Jonathan Hernandez of the Rangers, everybody. Josh Staumont of the Royals, another guy that I'm looking at here. Another young guy, 25 innings, a 2.45 ERA for the Rangers. We'll go ahead and leave him at a 4-star for now. He's definitely earned 5-star status, but we'd like to see a full season performing at that level before we dole out the 5th star. He's another guy that's a 2-pitch pitcher. With these guys, like I talked about with Devin Williams in my other video, it'll be interesting to see if they develop that 3rd pitch, if it becomes necessary, but he's actually fastball curveball, and you see that sometimes. You see a fastball curveball type guy. Oftentimes it's fastball slider, or excuse me, fastball changeup, or fastball slider, I should say as well. But fastball curveball for him, and he's a guy that I really hadn't heard too much about before the season, even though he was in here. When I looked at MLB.com when I was first creating him, they had him throwing a changeup as well, but you know how that goes. Guys change, they specialize as they go through the minors, but he's definitely another guy that I was able to pick up a lot of rookie cards of. So Staumont, looking good. We'll see what he does next year. Now James Karinchak, he's an interesting case. I didn't even have him in the roster before, I want to say August or so. Maybe I'm off a month or so on that. I did a video putting him in there at that time, just showing everybody that I was putting him in here. And I wanted to revisit him real quick, even though, as I said, I already did a video about him quite recently. But he ended up doing well. 27 innings, a 2.67 ERA. Not bad. Definitely not bad. Definitely up there with Staumont and Hernandez, some of the other videos that I've done. He's another guy that's a 2-pitch pitcher. Had him at 4-star. We'll go ahead and leave it at that. See what he does next year. Everything here should be pretty accurate. Fastball's about the same. We can tick it up 1. Leave the ratings the same. Curveball, everything looks good. Everything looks good. Yeah, everything looks good there. So with him, we're good on him. As I said, I did his update about a month or 2 ago. I just wanted to revisit and see if anything had changed. Now, I wanted to take a hard look at Randy Dobnak. He's a guy that I had in there, but they had him as a reliever. Now, he's a guy that he really killed it last year in his limited innings, but I still didn't flip him to a starter at that point. This year, got off to a super hot start. I mean, he had an ERA of around 1.5. I want to say it was sub 2 until his last, I want to say 2 to 3 starts of the year. And then I saw that he actually got reassigned. His career numbers still look really solid, but he's a guy that I know that it's a limited sample size, and in the postseason it looks like they beat him up as well. And then down the stretch, like I said, he got beat up. So you wonder if he's a guy, again, limited sample size, that if he's a guy that the league kind of has started to figure out a little bit. He's got 75 innings in for his career, so we're not going to give him the full-on update. Go ahead and drop him back here a little bit. But he's a guy that's a 3-pitch pitcher. So the fastball's coming in around 92. He's throwing a slider and a changeup as well. The slider's coming in at 83.5, so we'll just leave him at 83. And then the changeup is coming in at about 86. So yeah, like I said, we'll have to keep an eye on him definitely next year. He'll be a guy that's on my radar in terms of, hey, did they catch up to him? Is he a guy that kind of his best days are behind him? Or is he a young guy that, you know how it is, the league adjusts, now it's on him to adjust. It's in his court. The ball's in his court in terms of adjustments. That said, I picked up a ton of his rookie cards, so hopefully he gets his stuff together. All right, everybody, thanks for watching this video. Like I do with all of my videos, and there'll be a lot more. I'll do some more next week, but in the meantime, if you guys have any recommendations, I say this in every video, if you have any recommendations, or there's guys you want to see. Right now I'm focusing on the young guys, but if you have a guy that had a super killer year, he's your guy, he's on your team, if you want to see that guy, just go ahead and leave that comment for me, and then I'll go ahead and add those guys in with my next batch when I do that next week or in successive weeks. So thanks for watching, everybody. Take care, keep enjoying MVP, and hopefully these updates give you a little bit of insight and then a little bit of guidance if you're doing your own updates at home. Just kind of showing you the sources I look at. Again, it's Fangraphs and Baseball Reference. Use ESPN a little bit as well, but hopefully it gives you kind of some insight and guidance to how I do my updates and gives you kind of a framework when you're doing your own. Hopefully these updates give you a little bit of insight and then a little bit of guidance if you're doing your own updates at home. Just kind of showing you the sources I look at. Again, it's Fangraphs and Baseball Reference. Use ESPN a little bit as well, but hopefully it gives you kind of some insight and guidance to how I do my updates and gives you kind of a framework when you're doing your own. Take care, everybody.